So on my last video, one of the higher rated comments was one that asked me to do sort of my old style commentary, where I talked about gameplay tips and tricks. So let's have at it. Let's go vintage Woody on here. So I am Woody, and I am not the world's best gamer, but I do manage to get a fair amount of good games and a fair amount of wins by using tactics and knowledge. So I'm going to make a video here to help my unexceptional brethren do the same. The first thing I do is look at my class. This is my plant diffuse class. I like to use it on demolition, and I like to use it on headquarters. The FAMAS or AUG or any of the assault rifles, I like the low recoil ones, and the FAMAS and AUG fit into that category. I think the G11 might fit here too. Extended mags or dual mags, you can make an argument for either of them. I actually think I might switch to dual mags so that I have more ammo going forward. Nova gas. So for demo, which I'm about to play, I think maybe stun grenades might even be better than Nova, but since I also use this class for headquarters, Nova gas is far nicer for headquarters because it sits there and just lights people up and does what I think of as denial of entry, or what I call closing the door. There are these times when you're in this dangerous spot and you know that they'll be approaching through this hallway. Demo and Nova gas has a longer effect and just stops people from walking through that area for a longer period of time than, say, a stun does. So that's why I like that. Attack Mask Pro and Flak Jacket Pro are a must for this game type. Other guys are going to be using Nova, other guys are going to be using stuns, and they're really nice for that. And then Sleight of Hand. Sleight of Hand is my new stopping power. It's a sort of a default on every class that I have because that quicker aim down sight time helps you win gunfights, and their faster reload stops you from dying while you're doing that. So this is my class. Let's get into the game. So we start here on offense. And the first thing I do is I run over to the B site, the B bomb site, and watch this line of sight for a while. I could have been more patient here, actually, but that is oftentimes a dangerous line of sight later in the game. And there. So what I'm doing here is I kind of just own this area for a while, and I'm not camping. I'm patrolling a 3-foot radius. But more seriously, My teammate puts the bomb plant right there. I was about to do it, but he beat me to it. And now I assign myself this role of making sure that nobody gets this diffuse off. And I don't know what to say other than the fact that I'm using this garbage can here for cover. The garbage can is pretty easy to penetrate with bullets, but it's still better than nothing. It makes me a little harder to see, and I get to catch these guys off guard. I think some of them I'm catching repeatedly. But yeah, quickly run up to my chopper here. One mistake I did in this game, ooh, catch that guy almost got by me. One mistake I have in this game is that I'm only running 2 kill streaks. So I didn't realize that I'd set it up. I think we had actually run into a pretty tough team before, and I went to lower my kill streaks and just never set them up properly again. So it's too bad. I would have definitely had a much higher scoring game had I had more kill streaks running, but whatever. It's all good. It turned out to be a fine game anyway. So in my head here, I thought that other bomb site was on lockdown. I thought that we had it just fine, and that was my first mistake of the game. If I could have done it again, I would have gone on over there and done more to defend. So I knew that there was a guy there, and I was kind of waiting for him, and he didn't come as quickly as I thought he would, and everything just went down. As a team, our objective is to get their spawn pushed all the way back to where A domination is. We want them spawning at the very tail end of that street. And when we're getting that done, all you need to do is own the middle of the map. Maybe have a guy set up at fountain, camping, using the fountain as cover, looking at that door. And then have another guy like me set up here owning the street itself. And then you get a couple kills. And before long, they're spawning at the end of the street where I just got that kill. They're going to have a hard time winning a gunfight into fountain and doing their thing. So let's look at what just happened here. I was just shot, so I know darn well the guy knows exactly where I am, and I know that he has the advantage in the gunfight because I'm already hurt. Look at my screen, right? I'm probably 1 bullet away from death. So this is something that I do a lot. If I'm 1 bullet away from death, I'll take a defensive spot like this in the corner and hope that he sprints right on by me and presents an easy target. Evading in Black Ops works better than it did in previous Call of Duties. In a previous Call of Duty, I might have tried to turn on the guy. In a previous Call of Duty, I might have tried to win the gunfight even though he was ahead. Maybe I've got a lower recoil weapon, maybe I have better aim, I don't know. But I do know that if this is Modern Warfare 2, running away would have just been a frustrating death. In Black Ops, because it takes that extra bullet to kill, running away is a viable strategy, almost Halo-like. And that's what I do. I run away, I tuck in the corner, and I hope that he walks on by like a late Christmas gift. And Merry Christmas to me. So that's it. The round ends up. I didn't get any plants there, but I felt like it was a pretty crucial role on the first bomb, and not so much in the second. I maybe did a little bit to push people back in their spawn, but my teammate kind of locked down the other side of the map, and that went fine. So here we are, off to a fine start. It's too bad I didn't have more kill streaks running, because I'm 11-0. That would have gotten me anything I wanted. So here we are. Now we're on defense. Now I'm laying down to call in my chopper because I'm under the misinformed impression that I was running like the 9 or 11 chopper, not the 7 chopper. And it leaves me a little confused for a second here. But all right, whatever. Move on. I've only got 2 kill streaks going, and that's that. So this line of sight is pretty important in this game. They're not this far yet, as the SR-71 informs me. But I was using that as cover. Only the tip of my head was showing. That's been called head glitching lately. And glitching makes it sound like it's cheating. I think it's just a legit tactic where the bullets come out of the top of your character's head, not out of his gun. So if just the top of your head is exposed, you present a really difficult target to hit, and but you still get your bullets off without any problems, and that's what you want to do. That little piece of bad aim was frustrating. I think I had maybe 30 shots fired and 4 shots on target, and it's too bad because I'm not running dual mags, and I find myself low on ammo before too long. But whatever, it's just a video game. Not every shot I take is on target. That's why I am an unexceptional gamer. I tended to trail that guy. And yeah, so there's another example of where, I didn't win the gunfight like I had hoped to, and I evaded. And evading is a big deal, man. Keeping your kill streak alive is just as important as earning your kill streak. They're one and the same. And what we're doing here is one of the most dangerous spawn traps in the game. This, and maybe by the ADOM side on Summit, are the easiest spawn traps to figure out and execute on. So let's look at this in a second here. Where T-Mart is now, up on the right there, is probably as aggressive as you want to get for this spawn trap. He's maybe even a little further than I would prefer. And but you know what? I think he's just there for a moment. You have to be aggressive on this team to actually find guys to kill. But this is the imaginary line, and these guys will spawn in there again and again. I remember Beyond in the old school days used to call it the noob factory, and I don't mean to put these guys down, but yeah, they will just keep popping out of there. Demolition has one of the more sticky, I'll call it, spawns in the game. It is harder to flip a demo spawn than any other game mode that I can think of, really. So, the dominations may be second place on there. So we've got these guys locked in their spawn really tight, and they're not going anywhere. And my job and everybody else's job is just to sit here and lock them down. So there's your imaginary line, somewhere between me and those tires to your right of the screen. Just lock them in. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, what do you play with a team? It's so much easier to spawn trap. My advice to you: get your own team. Go to Huppet Gaming. I'm going to put a link to an old Huppet Gaming video that explains how to do it. I've been wanting to promote it again, but to be honest, we need to upgrade our servers for the 4th time, and I've been worried about directing too much traffic to the site. It's not that it's going to crash, it's just it'll be slower than I want it to be, and I want new guys to have a better Huppet experience for the first time. But I'll throw a link in the description if you guys care to see how to use Huppet, and hopefully that helps you out. But you can get your own team and get your own spawn locks going on. It makes it a more fun game. So that's the spawn lock that we're working, and here I am just picking guys off, waiting for him to come to me. I know I'm low on ammo, so I kind of burst fire towards this guy, and I'm not sure if I would have been better off going full auto. The FAMAS is kind of a low recoil gun. Whatever, one less kill, it's no big deal. So now I have a pistol, and if you look on the SR-71, there's one guy that got biased. There's one guy headed to the bomb. So I get on my horse here and start running, and in just a moment we'll find that guy actually had some success. Look at him, he on the bomb site. But it works out fine. He falls victim to my nade, and I defuse. Now if you look here, Onslaught on my right jumps up next to me and lays down, and You might think that he was looking to go for the defuse too and that we were uncoordinated. The truth is, Onslaught's just a little snuggly. He likes to cozy up to me now and then. So that's what was going on there. And there's my game breakdown. So that's one of the deadlier spawn locks in the game. Now let's break down what we learned. There's an imaginary line between that balcony area and the tires. You want to use some cover. Head glitching is when you shoot from the top of your head, as you always do, but you stand behind something and get the advantage on your gunfights. If you want a team, there's a link in the description that helps you find one, and there are a few line of sights that we pointed out that were strong. So I hope that you like the video, and have a nice day.